What if I told you one man was hit by a train, thrown from a plane, survived a bus crash, a car explosion, and multiple near-death experiences, and then won the lottery? This isn't fiction. It's the real-life story of Frane Selak, a man from Croatia, whose life reads like a Final Destination script in reverse. They called him the luckiest unlucky man alive. But what really happened? And is there more to this strange, unbelievable story? Welcome to UTAK Diaries. This is the story of the man who refused to die and got rich doing it. In 1962, Frane Selak boarded a train from Sarajevo to Dubrovnik. A routine journey, cold weather, snow in the air. But partway through the trip, the train derailed, a freak accident. The train jumps the track and plunges into an icy river. 17 people died that day, but somehow Selak survived. A stranger pulled him to shore, unconscious, with a broken arm and hypothermia. It should have been over. One near-death story to tell your grandkids. But for Selak, it was just the beginning. Just 1 year later, Frane took his first and only flight. Midway through, disaster struck. A door malfunctioned mid-flight, blowing open at 8,000 feet. Selak, seated near the door, was sucked out of the plane into the sky. Everyone else on board? They died in the crash. Selak? He landed and survived by crashing into a haystack, cushioned by a farmer's field. Yes, a literal haystack. A free fall from the heavens. Is that possible? Experts say surviving such a fall is technically possible if wind conditions, terrain, and body angle line up perfectly. And for Frane, they did. 3 years later, in 1966, Frane was riding a bus with several passengers. It was raining, the roads were slick, and then skid. The bus veered off a bridge, right into a river. 4 people drowned. Frane swam to shore, bruised but breathing. How does one man survive 3 near-fatal accidents in 4 years? Some called him lucky, others called him cursed, but Frane wasn't done yet. In 1970, Frane was driving his car when suddenly, his engine caught fire. Flames licked the dashboard. Seconds later, boom, and yet somehow he was ejected before the worst of it hit. The fuel tank exploded. Selak was blown out of the car but survived with only minor injuries. He wasn't wearing a seatbelt. The door was jammed. Mechanics later said a faulty fuel pump triggered the explosion. But how Frane escaped without burns remains a mystery. Just 3 years later, another car. Another explosion. This time, a malfunction in the fuel system caused flames to shoot through the air vents. Frane's hair was completely burned off. But he escaped before the car exploded. 2 car explosions in 3 years. Same man, still alive. At this point, friends started joking. Maybe death just doesn't want him yet. Years passed, no incidents. Frane started to believe his luck or curse had finally run out. Until 1995, walking through Zagreb, he was hit by a city bus. Thrown to the ground, he walked away with only minor scratches. Doctors were stunned. So was Frane, but by now he just shrugged. This was normal? 1 year later, 1996. Frane was driving through the Croatian mountains when a truck swerved into his lane. To avoid collision, he veered off the road and drove straight off a cliff. His car tumbled into the canyon, but Frane was not inside it. At the last second, he jumped out. Grabbing a tree branch, the car exploded below him. 7 near-death experiences. All survived. So, what does the universe give you after dodging death for 40 years? In 2003, Frane Selak bought a lottery ticket. He won $1 million. Croatian kuna over $100,000 USD. No car crashes. No fire. Just cold, hard cash. People started calling him a living legend. He became a media sensation. Interviewed, photographed, parodied in ads. But Frane didn't change much. He gave most of the money away. Bought a small chapel. Said he was finally at peace. Now here's the twist. In later years, some journalists doubted his story. Records for some of the accidents are missing or incomplete. Frane himself didn't keep documentation. Many of the stories were passed through word of mouth until they grew bigger than life. Is it possible he exaggerated? Or did the media sensationalize a strange but true tale? We may never know. But here's what's confirmed. He did survive a train crash. He did win the lottery, and his death-defying tales have circled the internet for decades. Or maybe he just knew how to live without fear. Frane Selak passed away in 2016 at the age of 87. No freak accidents. No explosions. Just peace. Maybe he really was the luckiest unlucky man in the world. But his story lives on as a bizarre, unbelievable, and oddly inspiring legend. And hey, if you've made it this far without being hit by a bus, ejected from a plane, or surviving an explosion, you're doing great. Follow UTAK Diaries for more strange, real and unbelievable facts that make you question everything.